This is a new idea. This is not my VOD, obviously, because I don't have mods when I play. Um, the idea is I just watch a set over and I just talk over it the whole time. This is not a VOD review because I will not be going in super duper in depth about what the opponent is doing, but it's kind of not a VOD review because I will be trying to give advice to I'll be giving advice to my opponent, who is Scarlett 1922, or whatever. So here, I'm just gonna talk about my thoughts during the set, how I was playing the set, what I noticed, and what I shit, and what I blah 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 blah. Whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to pause it at all. Ideally, after this. So this should be just one quick 26-minute me yapping over the set. So first things first, I see that Scarlett picks C-Kohaku, and this is one of those interesting mirrors. I'm considering the fact that we're both playing Kohaku. I have to be extremely careful the of getting hit, so I have to be relatively defensive. There, I noticed that Scarlett was super close to the ground and wasn't pressing any buttons, so I just poked with JA to both cancel my air dash recovery and to make sure if they tried to press JB super late, they would get counter hit. There, Scarlett tried to jump out with a button, probably tried to rising JC, but because they didn't commit to it really fast at all, my 5C auto collect caught them. So there, I'm just like being extremely defensive during pressure because C-Kohaku, the thing with this matchup is that C-Kohaku has a lot more firepower and she's a lot more stable in both neutral and on defense compared to H-Kkohaku. So for H-Kkohaku to win, you kind of just have to get like really good conversions and you have to pretty much out bullshit her and like either like counter poke her or like just play cleanly on defense. There, I was trying to do a combo that doesn't really work. I kind of noticed really quickly that Scarlett's super focused on getting an ID on me in neutral. Kohaku ID is not all that strong in neutral to just be throwing it out like that. It's like a mix-up tool. It cannot be your layer one option. So that's something I noticed. So after the third ID, you can notice I immediately shield. I don't typically shield at all, generally, unless I'm like have a extremely good read on what my opponent is doing. There was a kind of decent JB into dash throw from Scarlett, but there is a tiny issue. When you JB from that high up and you dash up, you are actually prone to getting mashed. So I probably could have mashed, and even if they did like a dash 2A, they probably would have gotten counter hit. There, Scarlett didn't respect the follow up to the bateau, so that's why they got counter hit. So I'm just standing in the mid range trying to pin Scarlett and catch any movement. I'm not really fishing for like a big combo or anything. I just need any single hit to kill her. So yeah, that's what I just go for. This is still early in the set, so I don't exactly understand how Scarlett's playing yet, so I'm being super defensive. You notice that I'm blocking anytime I jump, and I'm empty air dashing just to see what Scarlett's doing in the mid-range, and I get hit by like I air dodge into a 5A. That was pretty good from Scarlett's part. They probably could have converted that way better. That's something I noticed very quickly, that, oh, my opponent probably could have like gotten 5K off of that if they were properly converting. So I'm just doing like super basic block strings right now. I noticed really quickly that Scarlett is very prone to putting themselves in situations where they get air unblockable, because H-Kkohaku is not one of those characters who is super good at establishing air unblockable. So if you're getting air unblockable by H-Kkohaku several times, it's typically a sign of poor jumping. I think Scarlett is kind of bad at checking blocking in general. They kind of do it in spots where it doesn't make sense and where they get punished for doing so. There we get a very wacky, this is going to be one of my few rewinds. I went 3 minutes without rewinding anything, where Scarlett over commits to trying to catch the jump out. I think after this tech, yeah, they overcommit to trying to catch the jump out after the 2C, and they keep trying to JA in spots where it doesn't really make sense. So I just walk out of the corner and 5A counter hit them to trade and win the game. There, I just neutral jumped because I was curious on what Scarlett would do, and they walked up and they didn't really pay attention to where I was on the screen, so I was able to just land with 5B for free. Not 5B, JB. And then again, I neutral jumped. I saw that Scarlett walked up and didn't really respect my space, and I just tried to punish them with a button. There was, I kind of had a brain fart moment. I forgot the tree doesn't go away on hit for some reason. Well, there I had a very nicely spaced JB. Scarlett wasn't paying attention to where they were on the screen, so since they were in the JB sweet spot range, even though there was a slight risk of being counter hit by JC, even if they preempt JC at that point, they are going to not be able to get anything interesting off of it. So it was fine to press it there. This is just a basic combo into knockdown. Dash up 2B. I was trying to bait high shield because I thought Scarlett might go for it. Did not really have a read on what they like to do on defense yet, so I was just like doing shield base. There I spaced my JC. I'm pretty sure Scarlett could have punished that with EX shield into immediate 5A, but I think they were just ever so slightly slow on the draw. As you can see, I'm just very much giving them enough space to walk out if they really want to. I'm just like neutral jumping in the mid range, trying to like punish any sort of overcommitment. There, Scarlett tried to do a pretty lazy 5A anti-air, and the air dodge helped me time my landing so that I was able to punish it. That was a good JB, but they kind of didn't follow it up. They had air dash in that situation. Let me double check real quick. I'm pretty sure they did have air dash and double jump. Okay, when you do rising JB like this as H-Kkohaku or C-Kohaku, you need to remember that a very strong option is double jump into immediate air dash back JB again, because it covered, like, I'm pretty sure I probably used my double jump here. Let's double check. Okay, I did use my double jump, so you don't have to do that option in this situation. But another option that's super strong is air dash after this JB. Because I don't have air double jump in order to super double jump over you, you can just air dash and either like gold air throw, JA, or something like that. I'm kind of curious how I got hit here because I was too busy talking about the interaction earlier. I didn't believe that Scarlett did the Oki setup correctly, so I just held up. Versus bad, well, I think it's kind of rude to say bad C-Kohakus, but like versus C-Kohakus who are not as experienced, it's really easy to just hold up versus what they're doing because they've kind of failed. Like, this threat of C-Kohaku doing bullshit is really, really high, so a lot of new C-Kohakus try to just not meaty off the plant, or they do like fake cactus setups that are pretty easy to just disrespect if you hold up and are like, yo, you gotta meaty or actually time the cactus properly for me to actually respect it and for you to get your mix up. I accidentally forgot to do 2-2. Well, it's not like I forgot. I messed up my 2-2A input. So that's another instance of Scarlett doing a bad chicken jump and getting smoked for it, or getting air unblockable. Like, again, H-Kkohaku is not typically very good at getting air unblockable situations. So the fact that I'm getting so many of them, even in 3 games in, kind of like sets the red alert off in my head that, oh, my opponent's kind of chicken blocking and putting themselves in bad situations for me to abuse. That I kind of got lucky there with that 5A. I mean, it's kind of lucky, kind of like H-Kkohaku has a slightly better 5A for anti-airing. And I kind of just positioned myself in that air situation. Like, I promise I'm not going to do this too much because the whole point of this is to be fast. So after this super double jump, Scarlett kind of puts themselves in a bad position trying to chase it. Like, this IDJB was not all that good because there's like no reason for me to like overcommit with my remaining air options. So I just landed with JB. Then I just forward jump to see what they're doing. I get hit because I was probably trying to like input another jump or like trying to press. No, I was just probably trying to input another jump or drift forward more. So I tech forward, super double jump. Decent idea, but wrong spacing. But instead of covering the air dash back, they chase with JA and then they rising JH twice, which puts them into a position so bad that they can get 5A counter hit. And then I get another JA into a very hard combo. I believe I dropped this one near the end. I do land this combo near the end of the set. Oh, I'd go for loops that don't consistently work. And I believe I lose this game because I went for that. Yeah, I do lose this game because I accidentally did jump back JD. I was trying, I kind of brain farted. I was going to like jump back button, but I was like, what button do I have that hits rising? I was like, oh, I don't have a button that hits rising, so I'll just hit shield. And then my brain was like, wait, fuck, not shield. And then I pressed shield. So mid range again, I was kind of mad that I lost the game, but I was like, whatever, you lose some. 5C hit a little too high, so I wasn't able to get a full conversion off that. I could get a full conversion off that one if I hit it, I was like, okay, I dropped the combo. Typically, when you drop a combo, people will just block on wake up. So I was like, oh, I'll just get a command throw here, relatively free. Scarlett ends a lot of combos in 2-3-6-A feint, which is not all that great because of the fact that that's not hard knockdown, that's soft knockdown on C-Kohaku. So it's very possible that to disrespected by neutral teching. Also there, not like not doing anything after the cactus is already hitting or getting all those hits in it is really weird, because otherwise they would have killed me if they literally just hit 5C feint, 5C feint, 5C feint, and then finish their combo. They literally would have had enough damage to kill me without that extra 2C. So I was just curious on why they did that. I got a nice 2C catch into full to air throw ender. This I 2-3-6B because I don't want to deal with burst. Also, again, Scarlett puts themselves in this position where they get chicken blocked, where they get air unblockable. I use 2-2B in order to force Scarlett to either move forward or to jump block. They do neither, so they get hit by the bomb. I'm just jumping a lot on defense because I'm kind of noticing that Scarlett's not all that good at locking down my jumps yet, so I'm just moving in a way so I can just jump out into neutral, and if they do something like super duper risky, I can punish with landing air button. Like, I'm barely mashing 2A or 5C versus redashes or anything. I'm mostly just focusing on jumping out. Okay. That one was very obviously crossable. I don't even think it's possible. Like, you can't get Cindoried off of a B-tree. So that shit is like, she either puts herself in the corner or she does same side low. There, my spacing was wrong, and I tried to do a 2A version of the Oki because I thought that I miscounted frames. So I kind of put myself in a slightly bad position. Also, here is about the time where I noticed that Scarlett doesn't ever media after B-tree either. So I was like, next few times I see B-tree, I'm just going to disrespect it. Here, I'm just baiting out JBs that are poorly spaced using air dash because Scarlett does not seem to ever like jump forward, empty jump JB ever, and they only ever do it like with air dashes to do it as low to the ground as possible or whatever. So I noticed that relatively quickly. I incorrectly do a combo there, so I kind of panic and do a panic bunker. That JC probably should have been punished with a JC on reaction, because I have not shown like I'm willing to shield after 5C yet. I don't think I do that at all of this set, so they probably could have hit like JC there and probably killed me, but they double jump instead, so they give me enough frames to actually do something. There, I do shield after the 5C because I saw the jump and I was like, oh, they're not going to be able to get to me fast enough in order to actually punish the 5CC. That jump forward in order to catch the air tech was super duper greedy. I probably should have gotten gold air thrown for it, but my opponent didn't recognize that, so I kind of just got away with murder there. Bomb Oki, throw, yada yada yada. This is not all that interesting to talk about, so we're just kind of fading time, wasting time. Drop into 2B, 2C, probably trying to catch high shield. I do 2C, 2B there because I was trying to do the optimal conversion on the 2C, but my opponent doesn't do anything. They don't really punish the 2B, but I do press something after the 2B whiff. And there is the type of, like, if people chase super early on your air techs on the corner, you can always air tech back into gold air throw. That's a super strong defensive option that you gotta have in your back pocket. Here I noticed my opponent's just way too eager to catching techs in general, and they're just way too eager in general, so it's really easy to just position myself in spots and just give them shields for them to get counter hit by. The throw whiffed because I spaced myself slightly outside of throw range so I could grab throw but not get thrown myself. I'm just being very careful with my spacing. I drop the IDJB re-jump combo, and I dropped that combo that definitely would have killed. But I have heat, so I'm just playing relatively frugal. Not even frugal, relatively Well, I wouldn't call it like reckless either. I'm just like, I did a redash there, a very small one, because I didn't want to like redash deeply and get counter hit. But I do a redash that I probably would not have done if I didn't have heat. I catch what looks to be a 2B or 2C counter hit on startup. Also, yeah, again, my opponent gets counter hit by gets air unblockable. Like again, here I do the 5C 2B version because that's the only way to get full Oki, and I drop it. So I go for a 2A into delay 2A 2C, so I can get some extra loops and finish off the game. This is about the point where I'm like mentally clocked out and like I'm kind of bored because I just do like that 5C there is like really fucking dog shit. I wouldn't probably not do that versus like someone I was like paying full attention to, but I'm like kind of checked out at this point. That link is character specific, and I did the Scion timing, so that's why I did it too late. 5C feint into redash is one of those strong things, especially when it hits, because people do not like when people get hit by a 5C, they're like prepping themselves to get hit by a full combo. So just like giving them that space and then redash jumping is something really strong. And as you can notice, I am very, very careful with my spacing to not be in like dash 5A range. I'm just ever so slightly outside of that. My opponent would probably take advantage with that with walk forward 5B or 5B full charge or like even dash 2C. But I know from experience as a Kohaku player that dash 2C is like really scary to press, especially if you're not all that good, confident on the character yet. Nice throw into Bomb Oki. I think I get Bomb Oki on this knockdown. Yep, I do. Yep, slightly delay the bomb in order to account for Kohaku's slightly delayed wake up. This is not going to kill, but I will probably use this opportunity to get meter. No, I decided to not do meter. I slightly mess up my lockdown here. This will be a rewind. I've been good at not rewinding that much this set, I think. So after this 2C, 5B, I jump and that air dash probably, let me quickly look at it. I probably, considering the fact that this was just a fall JB, I still have double jump and I have air dash. This should have been, remember what I said earlier about use double jump into instant air dash back into JB again? That's probably what should have happened there, because that would have caught this super double jump out. It would have like specifically blocked it, and then I don't got double jump to get out of the corner. I'm kind of fucked because I have to use air dash versus Kohaku's already on the ground. Like in that situation, if I used my double jump and insert air dash back, my opponent would have been in a checkmate scenario, but I didn't recognize that fast enough. That's something I gotta work on inputting into my habits. There, I go for a regular throw because I was feeling lazy and I didn't want to do command throw, but because I did it at command throw spacings, it didn't hit. I rolled there because I was expecting some sort of bullshit hit that wasn't all that well set up. I think in my personal opinion, if you're getting heat off of 2-2B Oki, you want to at least meaty them generally, like 2A meaty into like 5 DOS and then heat, because that way you can get your heat regardless of whatever bullshit your opponent does. Like, unless you're there also a C-Moon and they can heat you back, in which case you want to just like probably like meaty with 5C or something. My spacing was ever so slightly off, but my opponent landed after me, so I had frame advantage, so I just mashed once they hit the ground. My opponent's getting hit by a lot of C2B this set. I probably, like, my opponent hit JC way too early there. Or maybe way too late is the better term. Yeah, they get hit. Yeah, honestly, I think JC into JB probably would have comboed from C-Kohaku at that spacing, so maybe it's not too late. But it was way too telegraphed because they had no other air options. This combo doesn't kill. Air throw wouldn't have finished it. I'm spacing my JCs. Also, I do not think my opponent's doing them fast enough to get the... I'm pretty... Like, it should be a guaranteed punish on the EX Shield 5A, but my opponent's not hitting them frame perfectly. And there's a buffer on this, too. Actually, This might just be me being no, I'm pretty sure this is just my opponent not spacing this, not timing this right. I'd have to double check myself real quickly, but I'm pretty sure this should hit because my green should still be active at this moment. And this, but maybe C-Kohaku can't punish this with her 5A, but H-Kkohaku could. I will actually double check this later. I'm pretty sure this is my opponent's not doing it frame perfectly, or it's not buffering the 5A. Okay, that was a bunch of lazy jumps for me, and that's good on my opponent for catching that. I used all my air options way too fast. That combo doesn't work because of not enough scaling. I think because 5C feint into full combo is such a highly skilled starter. But I didn't recognize that, so I didn't tech out. I think I should have lost here. I should have lost that game there. But my opponent dropped the combo and did a redash instead of finishing their food. I do have similar scrambles and issues though, so I get it. I get it. I probably didn't need to spend meter there. There's definitely a way to get bomb Oki without spending any meter. But I was like, again, mentally kind of checked out. My opponent lands and presses a button, but I press 5C because I was like, oh, 5C moves my bottom hurt box back. That was so obviously same side that I was confused as to why they did it, but then they did a command throw, which is a decent mix. My opponent empty IEDs and gets punished for it with a JB, a delayed JB. I was expecting low shield there, and I got it. So I just meted with 5C, and my opponent's dead. And I ended with 236C to manage mirror, so I don't go to the next round with 0. My opponent is JAing, like, these sort of JAs don't work on any Kohaku because, like, you can see the JA is whiffing really easily. Like, if this was Akiha, her JA would hit you, even on the way up. Like, this JA would hit if you were playing Akiha, but you're not playing Kohaku to play Akiha. Like, I don't even check the first JA because I was just like waiting for the combo to drop. Like on Kohaku, if you JA, you usually just do it once. Or if you do multiple JAs on Kohaku, you're normally doing it as a mix-up, like a JA JB or JA JA or JA 2A. That's the sort of mix-up you're using JA for. You're not like doing it to counter poke like that, because when you do it on Kohaku and you're counter poking with JA, you normally just do it once because it's not super consistent to link into itself. So you just want to, like, if they get counter poked by it and they get counter hit, you get your full combo, you get your full eats. But otherwise, you just like if they don't get counter hit by it, you just take the air advantage and you position yourself to either pin them or to lock off their tech forward. So Scarlett kind of just put themselves in a bad, like, this Rising JA was fine, but it probably should have been a JB afterwards because that definitely would have hit. And this was just I'm using air options to try to finish their food in a way that doesn't make sense. Now I'm on the ground, they're in the air, and they're air dashing at me, so they only have double jump left in order to mix up their landings. I react to this with, I believe, just walking back. I probably was trying to, like, as soon as they got in range of pressing a button, I wanted to shield them. But, like, yeah. My opponent just uses air dash too much, generally. And it's kind of hard because, like, I get the urge to air dash a lot on Kohaku, but I think it's like you do have to remember, like what I said earlier, where air dash is not the layer 1, it's like the layer 2. Your jumping on Kohaku should primarily be like neutral jumps and super jumps, and not super jumps, super double jumps, and yeah, just neutral jumps, jumps forwards, and super double jumps. Like, you see that I'm mostly using air dash to like after I get like a hit on or blocks the normal. Yeah. Once I tag them with something, then I air dash. Or if my opponent puts themselves in a position where my buttons would be super duper strong, then I air dash. Or I air dash in neutral as like a mix up. I'm typically falling with buttons. I'm only ever air dashing to stall myself in the air a little bit. Like, air dashing is not your primary option unless your opponent puts themselves in a position where they're like air dash would tag them consistently. Also, I very much like these combos from Scarlett. I think they have some of the cleanest raw like single hit JA confirms out of all the C-Kohakus I've played. because most of them don't do the sort of weirdo confirms for the single hit into like air combo JAs. And there's that IDJA into delay 2A I was talking about. That pin is so fucking lazy. I probably should have been exploded for that. Do I rewind? Let me look at the. We're almost done this set. It's like 6 minutes left. I will humor myself with a rewind. Yeah, this was like pure slop for me. IDJB is like not that great, but like Ash 2A catches the jump out. Proper situation here is hold the fort, and then as soon as I see this ID back, my instinct should be jump back JB, keep the corner, because my opponent has to press a button on their way down, and it's likely that it's going to lose to J7 JB. If they use their air dash in order the air dodge to not be in that position, they still have to press a button. And like, yeah, like this dash under, it worked because my opponent like they air dash super duper early. If they air dash later, this ID could have actually gotten smoked. This dash, if they air dash backed later, or they tried to recorrect their facing position with an air option slightly later than immediately after the air tech, I probably could have gotten smoked here. This was like, oh, my opponent's going to do something stupid. I'm just going to hard call it out because I want to win this game as fast as possible. This was not like a very smart play, if that makes sense. Blamoki, mistimed the throw. It's really hard to remember that on Kohaku specifically, I need to delay it by like a couple frames. This was interesting. I know, rewind. I tried to jump forward, but I got a back jump because I got crossed up. So because I back jumped into the plant, I'm 1 frame lower to the ground than I should be, and because I'm back jumping, I actually air block the plant instead of getting hit by it. If I got hit by it normally, it wouldn't have happened. I'm actually surprised that the plant was hitting me. I think I 4-jump a couple times in this set and the plant still hits me. I don't think it's supposed to do that, but maybe they're doing like weirdo setups with weird gravity counts that allow it to allow the plant to cover neutral jump. Anyway, my opponent like very clearly overcommits at round start, so I just put myself into a position to JB, and we accept the JB, and I'm presenting strikes so my opponent doesn't get any smart ideas. I do not understand why they air dashed out of the corner. Like, that is so scary to do on Kohaku, because you're essentially pinning yourselves in that small area on the screen for like 30 frames. I don't get that. I almost never air dash out of the corner for that reason specifically. I don't remember if I did the combo right, so I do the fake version that lets you get 6k off a throw. But I forget that Kohaku has a hurt box that means that she has to do it. You need a special version of the combo for it to work versus her. Otherwise, the 2A to whiff cancel hits her. Excuse me. 2C pin and two basic damage. I do 5B because I was expecting like a high shield. I also wanted to like punish any 2A mash on wake up or anything. I'm still improving at mixing up my mid-range options. Also, notice how I said like earlier, when you do like these sort of IJBs, when you try to redash, you're very prone to getting mashed, even if you are a plus, because Kohaku mash is slow. Not her mash is slow. Her dash is slow. There it happened again where I tried to 4-jump out the corner because I was like, yeah, they're not fucking meeting me after plant. They haven't done that this entire game. And then I get back jump, so I hold up again. That time they actually do try to meet me out of plant, but they mistime it. Also, I have heat, so it's fine. There I kind of got lucky. This probably should have been a kill, but I did not like bother confirming it any better. That was a perfectly spaced 236A full charge on my part. I don't know if I like the fact that I'm JCing here instead of JBing. Like, the idea behind JC is that it's relatively big and it can be charged, and when it is charged, it's fully disjointed. But like, JB is generally a lot better because like it covers vertically, so if the opponent tries to jump out of the corner, you catch that as well. Like, JC is better if they're also see these lazy JAs again. They kind of get smoked because again, this is not Akira. You have to be very mindful on your JAs on Kohaku. I'm just jumping out. Like, notice how I'm not like mashing or press or trying to take my turn too aggressively. I notice my opponent is not paying that much attention to trying to prevent me from jumping out. Like, one of the strongest things about Kohaku is the fact that she has some of the best lockdown in the game. But my opponent's not taking full advantage of that, so I kind of just get to jump out of the corner for free. Although, you could argue that jumping out of the corner for free happens a lot versus Kohaku once you get into higher levels, because, especially versus H. But on C, it shouldn't be as free, I guess. So let's just forget I said anything. My opponent wake up throws for like, what, the third time this set? I think that's kind of, yeah. I get it. Sometimes it is really worth going for it, but I think it's very, very, very situational. And I don't like the way they were using it there, honestly. There I do 2A, 2C. I thought they would backdash because I was like, wait, this opponent hasn't backdashed at all. Round started at all. Here I probably could have killed with a harder combo, but I saw that the 2C got a super weird hit, and I wanted to make sure I did not lose by having my 5C get crossed up and whiff. So I just go for a basic combo, and I was going to play for time if that didn't kill. Notice my spacing here. Like, I back off. Like, this is perfect spacing for the 2C, 2B. I don't go for that here because my opponent has not seemed to bite on this 2C at all. I just do 2C, 2A whiff. Here I can either 6-6 dash Rising JB to catch jump out, or I could just waffle around in the mid range, which I decided to do, and see what my opponent does. I see the neutral jump into super double jump. This probably should have been an immediate Rising JB. Instead I ID JB, which JA, ID JA. If this was a Rising JB, this would have been perfect. This would have been textbook Kohaku goodness, but I messed up because my opponent did like the ID earlier, and I was of the opinion that they would like do an empty ID again, because I did catch a whole bunch of empty IDs this set. Now that I'm looking back at it, so I was probably of the opinion like, oh, my opponent's not going to do the smart super double jump out of corner. I would just catch them on their overextension. Like, this worked luckily because I still land. Oh, I landed after. She probably could. Scarlett could have definitely hit 2C here if they recognized that they landed first. Because I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 frames of disadvantage, so they could have pinned me here with 2C. Especially considering the fact that I walked backwards instead of blocking. So that IDJA there could have actually like spent my undoing if Scarlett was more seasoned. Because that IDJA catch was like very much a, oh, my opponent's not paying that much attention to what they're doing on defense. So this, I notice how I do the IAD out of the thing, but like my opponent is like bashing 5A when I'm still like IADing at them. So I felt like relatively confident in doing that 5 IAD. Also, technically, it was just my turn. So like ID when it's your turn on defense, even if you don't have a corner, is different than ID when you're trying to escape the corner. Yeah, I'm just pressing fucking buttons here. I am so surprised that 5C actually traded with that. That was so low to the ground. That's weird. That definitely could have killed, I think. Actually, let me double check how much reverse beat penalty I had. No, I had way too much reverse speed. That would have done fucking no damage. Yeah, way too much reverse speed. This probably would have done like 2k tickle monster damage, even if I properly converted it. This is going to come close to killing, but I don't think I use it to kill. I think I just get meter. Yeah, to guarantee the win. I really don't like this mod, by the way, but hey, to each their own. See, I could do timely VOD reviews just by deciding to not rewind and look into every single situation super duper in depth. I too can review games at a somewhat decent pacing. My opponent IAD backs for some reason. No, they jump delay IAD back because they see that I'm in the airspace. They probably should have gold air thrown that. Like, I know gold air throw around start is kind of mean, but if your opponent is like consistently jumping and doing jack shit around start, you should just gold air throw them. Well, you can gold air throw them. said, I just like press JC because again, I'm kind of like mentally checked out at this point. Um, I was not expecting to cross up there. I was expecting the 2B to punish them for pressing buttons, and it did do that. I was not expecting the cross up, so. Also, I didn't get a 2C hit there, so I just did it like a. Also, that was a nice 2C catch on the redash. One of the interesting parts of this matchup is that when the other one is trying to delay their 2C to catch nonsense, that the other Kohaku is capable of just pressing 2C. Of course, making that 2C hit actually matter is one help. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, if we look back at that 2C hit that Scarlett got on Meaver, that they didn't do much with it. You could argue that Scarlett should have either 2C 2A whiffed heated here, or 2C maybe you do OTG into 5CC 236C 22B and then heat. Like, both of those would have been good options because Scarlett has a bunch of recoverable health here, and if they don't want to lose to the next hit, they really need to do a heat as fast as possible. I don't know the frame data of 2C 2A with heat. It's probably not good, but like at this distance, like even though I'm a Kohaku, I would have to hit sweep, and I'd have to risk hitting sweep instead of like maybe you could jump. Like, I don't know the frame data on 2C 2A with heat, so I don't want to say anything super duper in stone. But like, you need to find a way to put yourself in heat as soon as possible. This IDJC probably should have gotten shielded by me, but I was like, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. This gold air throw attempt, I see the vision, but I drift forward out of the corner, so you take the corner from me. If I was holding back, if you were better at lockdown, and I was literally drifting forward here, so that meant I was not holding back at all for like nearly the whole way up. So if you were better at lockdown and forced me to like neutral jump into jump block, you probably would have gotten that gold air throw. But because you hadn't conditioned me to do that yet, I was just holding like J8 into forward. And that meant your gold air throw whiffed and you get punished and die for it. Again, I'm trying to. Let me look at my round start real quick. This is the last game, so I feel less bad about fucking going backwards and looking at shit a little bit more in depth. Maybe I'll do the last game as a super in depth, but like I am like fully mentally checked out at this point, so I'm just fucking doing bullshit. Like this jump back round start is kind of cringe, but like whatever. Like jump back round start's not normally cringe, but I noticed I did it like 6 times in a row on round start where I'm just always in the air. But like I think again, I'm probably just fully checked out. Dash 5A. I'm trying to air unblockable them. The fact that I'm fishing for this on H-Kkohaku is worrisome indeed. I got crossed up here. Nice catch, but you do need to be prepared. Whenever you hit 5B full charge, you need to understand your opponent can tech if they get hit in the air. You need to quickly realize where did my opponent get hit by 5B full charge, and will they? How do I position myself to not lose to tech buttons? Typically, the way you position yourself to not lose to tech buttons is just letting tech buttons whiff and full punishing it with 2C. But you immediately hit 2C afterwards because you're autopiloting and you don't even realize that I got hit in the air. And because of that, you get hit by 5C. Cut the combo short. I counter hit a 5A. That you should not be pressing 5A at that distance versus H-Kkohaku specifically. Like, bro, what the fuck are you 5Aing? You 5A a lot in positions that don't matter, actually. Yeah, like, in what world do you 5A here? Especially after walking back. If you walked forward, it would make more sense. Like, what green are you trying to counterpoke? Whatever. And I am so fucked up. I would just eat that heat if it was like Skeleton or Alps or literally anyone else. I would typically not bother fucking baiting it, but like here you can just tell I'm just doing shit to do shit. 2A, I've noticed that the 2A was like near max range, so I do a redash. This next Oki is for game, or it would be if I actually did the combo correctly. This is your big chance to see fully whiffed, because I was expecting you to fully respect the walk back into delay 2C and press a button. But this is like the one time you jumped out of the corner and you still do an immediate air dash instead of super double jumping. So hey, we did it half correct, you know. But here the ID makes more sense, I guess, because you at least get a full punish on the 2C whiff. So maybe you were trying to bait out a 2C. Like, I don't think that's what happened, but also, like, I will at least applaud you for doing that correct. This combo is ass. If you're going to do the full spinny combo, you need to do the full thing that leads into 5k. None of this one loop shit into boring 2 That's dog shit. Don't do that. No meaty, because you mistime your meaty. You need to understand how to meaty your opponents, because you're doing it way too early, way too often. Like, this is like the 6th time you tried to meaty with a 5A, but you like press it like super duper early. And then I just get to jump out. I thought you were chasing harder here, because jump out, get hit by tree. Did I back jump? Let me double check. This is literally the last 2 interactions of the game, so I can afford to just double check. No, I 4 jump here. See, normally you're supposed to have enough frames to just 4 jump, 4 clear the tree, but maybe you probably don't have enough gravity after the 2C, I think. But yeah, you're cutting your combos so short that there's literally not enough gravity on the 2C, so your 2C is probably more plus than it normally is. I think that's what's happening, because this neutral jump fully clears the tree. It might be I have to like neutral jump JA immediately in order to clear tree in this situation, but normally it just clears tree. Anyway, I just get hit by the tree. Normally, I see that you jumped like super duper early after the tree hit, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to grab this person for not paying attention. Yeah, this is bad, but you immediately you don't do a double jump in order to punish. So I see you underneath me. I was like, oh, free eats. I get to go there, throw them again. This should be death. You don't have that much reverse beat penalty because of the way you're doing your combos and your Oki. So this 5A counter hit should lead into death. I believe you drop it and I full pick up. Yeah, you drop it and I hit mash 2 and I hit 2A into 2C. The combo you were doing there probably would not have even killed either, honestly. And that's it. 40 minutes to go through a 26-minute game. I think that's fair. Now that I've looked at the set again, here are my opinions. Okay? I didn't take a notepad for this because I didn't feel like taking a notepad. I want to do other shit tonight, so I didn't feel like taking that all too seriously, but I kind of got into it, so let me gather my thoughts real quick. Okay. You need to be more comfortable with jumping and super double jumping out of the corner to not get an immediate hit afterwards. That's a very common issue among players of your skill level, where in order to win defense, they believe they have to win defense instead of just not lose on defense. It's really, really important to recognize that, yes, getting a hit on defense is really, really good, but sometimes the risk of that is so obscene that the answer is probably just to like not get hit, or at least not get hit as hard. You can afford to jump, like some of your jumps were decent or good, but then you'd immediately ID after them and put yourself in worse spots. Sometimes you just need to super double jump away, or you need to ID and not press a button immediately afterwards. Another thing that you did a lot that was not good is that you IAD'd pretty much every single time you jumped. I did not see you do like a neutral jump or a forward jump button, delay button at all. That's not good. Kohaku IAD is weird and sort of strong. I hesitate on calling it just strong. I think it's just unorthodox, especially with her buttons and her linear air dash. And while that is an asset, that also makes it really predictable when you use your buttons like the way you are. Kohaku buttons are stronger the more air options you have in your tool belt to back them up with, especially JB. Like, JB is super duper broken if you have both your air dash and your double jump on you. You consistently don't have your double jump on you because you're using your JB after your air dash, which means that your JB's threat is not as strong as it could be otherwise. That's like the easiest way to think about JB in my personal opinion. Like if you get all of your JB hits but you only do have double jump afterwards, and you're putting yourself in weird spots where you can, like, if you use air dash to JB as someone, in my personal opinion, if you cannot threaten double jump gold air throw, you probably should not be air dash JBing unless your opponent is getting counter hit by that JB really consistently, or they block the JB with 0 air options left. That's like my personal hot take and opinion on Kohaku JB bullshit. So yeah, you air dash too much in neutral and you make that your level 1. That was the second thing. Your first thing is that you don't super double jump out of pressure or in bad spots often enough. You did a couple of super double jumps that were decent, but you typically immediately go to trying to hit the opponent after you super double jump out instead of just trying to reset to neutral. So that's 1 and 2. 3, you hit 5A to anti-air way too much. Kohaku's not all that good at doing that, bro. People lie to you and tell you that her 5A is like broken for swatting out shit in the air. That's not true. She does not have CSAT's 5A. CSAT is a shorter character, 1. 2, she becomes shorter when she presses 5A for whatever godforsaken reason. And 3, CSATs has generally better options to discourage people from jumping at them super stupidly when she's on the ground. Kohaku has decent options to prevent people from jumping super stupidly, but her 5A is not one of those. Like, it is especially on C-Kohaku, is one of those like it's like last line of defense, and it's done like on a fuzzy mash. Like, if you expect your opponent's trying to take their turn a little too hard, then you whip out the 5A in order to prevent them from overextending themselves. What else was there? Yeah, you 5A way too often. You don't 5B at all, actually, which is weird. You probably, like, this is kind of like a noob trap, or like a second layer noob trap that it kind of got me for a while. But I think you'd be better off if you did the 5A 5B thing in neutral. Lord Knight taught it to me, and it's kind of like a beginner trap in this version because it doesn't work as well as it did in PS2 because there's no longer anti-A normal armor. But like, I think you'd benefit off of using it just so you understand how you should be anti-airing and dealing with people who are IADing at you. Like, IADs in this game are kind of scary, but you got to be better at reacting and dealing with them, because the way you're dealing with them, which is just rapid firing 5A and hoping something good happens, is not very consistent or good or strong. What else? The fourth, your combos are kind of whack. I don't think I saw a single C-Kohaku combo you did reach 5.5k, which is worrisome. You do need those if you want to play a C-Kohaku like that, because her neutral it's not bad, but it's not exactly broken. So if you're going to be playing C-Kohaku, you really want to hit the risk reward point where the risk is so stupidly in your favor that you're making me scared of doing basic bullshit. And with that, I think I've got most of my thoughts out of the way. Was there anything else I noticed in your play that was like aggressively bad? I already harped on your JAs a lot, so I don't feel the need to go about them again. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope this video was somewhat of use. I didn't really like the yapping video I made yesterday, and I wasn't really sure if people would want to even hear or listen to me talk about a set in passing. I was kind of interested in doing games like this where I just talk about a set post haste and talk about what I was thinking about when I played it and noticed on stuff the opponent was doing, but I didn't know if there was even any interest for it. I hope this is a decent guide for interest. Also, I was thinking about recording my voice while I play, but I am very mean while I play. I say some mean stuff that I don't think I can record while I play. Also, I don't talk that much when I play because it's hard to concentrate and talk at the same time. So if I focus on talking for a recording, I'm just going to play worse, I think. So I kind of don't really talk when I play, but I'm interested in doing it for maybe a couple of videos for sets. I want to introduce more types of multiplayer content to this channel, and this is like a small test of one of them. So thank you for all those of you who watch. Hopefully I did not fuck up this recording. It's 50 minutes and my voice is not hearable. I'm gonna be so mad. I should stop slumping. And thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. I'm gonna play Wuthering Waves 3.1 and finish the story. I hear this. Oops. Sorry for the audio blowout there for a second. I hear the story super duper good, so I'm gonna go listen and finish it right now. Bye.